Hey, what's going on, guys? Tobin here with you. Thanks for checking out the channel. Much appreciated. You're beautiful, and I love you guys. It means the world to me. Thanks for the support. All right, so we're like on day 9 of Damian Lillard watch here. Since it's officially been known that he wants to be traded to the Miami Heat, everybody has descended upon Las Vegas. Miami Heat are in Summer League action coming up against the Suns. I will have a recap for you later on today. But Joe Cronin, everybody's favorite guy down here, the general manager of the Portland Trail Blazers, has just spoke to the media. I've been following this on Twitter. Shout out to everybody there from Irish Twitter account and Tim Reynolds and Sean Hyken, who covers the Blazers. But so here are the big highlights out of it. I would say numero uno for me is that Cronin hasn't spoken with Damian Lillard since the trade request. And according to Sean Hyken's Twitter account, he says there have not been any meaningful movement on trade talks, which is in line with what was reported over the weekend from Chris Haynes, that there really haven't been any significant talks about a deal or for a deal. But according to Ira's Twitter account, he did decline to comment on whether or not he has had contact with the Miami Heat. So that's an interesting thing, is that, Cronin's out here, hasn't talked to Dame, won't say if he's talked to the Heat. I'd find it hard to believe that there hasn't been any contact whatsoever between the two teams, just to kind of get a parameter. Now, maybe that talk with the Blazers is, hey, our starting point is 3 first-round draft picks, and the Heat have to go get one. So that could be very well where we are. I don't know. But, some of the other stuff in this hemming and hawing from Joe Cronin, I think is just, it's a bad look from the guy. I don't know if you guys have been following. There is like a contingent of Blazers fans that really seem to hate this guy. Some of the mashups that have been put on Twitter of just like what a boob this guy has been, press conference to press conference, of just like, oh, we're gonna win now. We're gonna do the best thing to win our Dame. We're gonna put the pieces around Dame. We're gonna do this. And then today he's like, I do look it upon somewhat of a failure that Damian Lillard doesn't want to stay here. It's like, what a blowhard thing to say. Like, hey, dude, you go out there and you're like, we're going to put all the pieces around and we're going to do it again to win. Okay. Then you're like, oh, we're going to get those pieces. We're going to trade. Then you go and you basically draft a guy who plays his position, and you make it seem like you have this grand meeting with the guy. And it's just like you've gone this entire time trying to make yourself look so great, and are just left to making it seem like Damian Lillard is a bad guy, where it really feels like this guy never really kept his word with Dame. Maybe he's just bad at his job. I don't know. It doesn't seem like he's nailed a lot of trades, but it's pretty hilarious looking at where this guy's at right now. Unsurprisingly, the big quote that everybody's running with it, so nice Woj had to tweet it twice, is if it takes months, it takes months. That's where that was the big line that everybody went to. Oh, Joe Cronin is sticking to his guns. Excuse my alarm. Sticking to his guns. And he's going to see if this takes months, we're going to stick it out for months. To that degree, here's what I would say is a tough go of it. All right. So it is true. We have seen some general managers be more patient recently. Like the Ben Simmons thing, that ran into the season, and they were able to get James Harden for him, where things fell apart there, where he wanted out. And then that worked at that time for Daryl Morey. Kevin Durant, that did not happen in the middle of last year, even though he wanted to be in the Suns. Start of the year, they rolled it in. I think the thing that's different this is different for a couple of reasons. One, I think you're dealing with different level of feelings here because Damian Lillard is a franchise icon. And I do think that it'd be a real slap in the face to the Blazers fans to have him there on opening night and then trade him away and think that everything's just going to be all right. The guy has made it such a point that he wanted to stick it out with them. To have this run into the season, I think, is a bad look for everybody involved. Whereas with the Nets, what else are they going to do? they put all their eggs in the Kyrie and Kevin Durant basket to begin with. Of course, they're going to try and see that out. You never get that opportunity again, and of course, it unraveled on them. But I understand why they were in a different spot of, hey, let's just see if this will work together. And it almost did until Kyrie went Kyrie on the situation and made it weird. James Harden, the first time that he got dealt to Brooklyn, went into it. Of course, he had the fat suit, really sabotaged the Houston Rockets and got to that point. So we have seen the star thing usually go into the season. That has been kind of the pattern recently. But the whole idea of, if it takes months, it takes months. Like, that's the thing that everybody's going to go with. It's like, I would be pretty stunned if Damian Lillard is not on not even saying the Miami Heat. I'd be stunned if Damian Lillard was not on a different team come opening night. Now, I believe that'll be the Miami Heat, but I would be stunned if he, this whole thing of we're open to having Damian Lillard return to Portland. It's like, come on, dude. What are we doing here? He said, quote, what the rest of Damian Lillard's career looks like matters for us. At the same time, we have to find the right deal and do what's best for us. I don't know if you guys saw it today, but I guess Shams was on Pat McAfee's show, and his piece that was out there was that the Heat are trying to get a first-round package together for Damian Lillard, because there was a funny quote where I think Cronin was like, what do we want? He was like, he said, in any deal, the goal is to come out with the best outcome. It could be a win now player, it could be a young player, it could be picks, it could just be picks. There are no parameters. And I think he was asked about, is there a better win now player than Damian Lillard that would be available? And he goes, well, no. So it's not a win now move. You could already see what a counterintuitive, contradicting dum-dum this guy is. So Shams on McAfee's show today, he had said a couple of things in regards to the Heat, in that he said, quote, there's a framework with Miami where Portland could end up with 3 or 4 first-round picks, that there are teams that are willing to give at least a first-round pick for Tyler Hero. And so, which we've heard on a couple of cases, that Tyler Hero, to feel like he's got this terrible contract around. Now, maybe the Heat's leaking stuff there. I doubt it. That's not really their style, but maybe. But the word is that that Tyler Hero's value is not at this terrible place that everybody likes to make it out to be. And Lord, if you're seeing some of the contracts that are getting thrown around all over the place for a guy to score as well as he does, and at the number that he's at, with the numbers going through the roof, and you have a controlled contract on him now for the next 4 years at 23 years old, going to turn 24 in January. Not too bad. Not too bad. I think people make it out to be this big albatross that it is not. So I find that funny. And then, Shams was doubling down on the whole, that he wants to be in Miami, that teams like the Celtics, the Clippers have called, and that's kind of been nuked, which is probably why Cronin doesn't want to say anything about the Miami negotiations as to where they stand. He said, I see why Dame would look at this and say it isn't a win now opportunity from that standpoint. I understand it and respect it. Duh. Building around Dame has always been the goal, even through the draft. The difficulty we ran into was finding the right deals. We kept scouring the market for win now players, and those players just weren't available. Sure, dude. Or you didn't want to take your one cut at trying to get a winning player, win now player next to Damian Lillard. But when I have young draft picks, as we've seen from like the school of the dude in OKC, you get these young players, you're always resetting, you're always revamping. A lot more job security in that than there is you have to take the home run cut and try and win now. Let's see. What else? He had this Bobley quote. This was funny. He says, I don't feel like I did everything I could because I didn't get done what needed to get done. And in that sense, I do feel like I failed Dame. Our goal was to win now as quickly as possible. If he didn't feel that way, it was a failure on my end. Well, yeah, guy. Yeah, it is. I mean, like, and the thing that's funny about it is, like, this dude continues to come out here with these hocus pocus, trade scenarios that they're almost there, but they just never were quite there. And I think that's probably where Damian Lillard is feeling like, I don't think you guys really tried in any sense to get this done. So, like, was there a lot of meat on the Joe Cronin bone today? I would say no. The things I found most interesting are that he hasn't spoken to Damian Lillard because he's not a grown-up, and that he won't talk about Miami, that he won't even he won't acknowledge if there's been any contact, if there's been any talks. Would find it very hard to believe that at some point, him and Andy Ellisberg don't hit up an Earl of Sandwich while at, in Las Vegas, somewhere, and, see where they're at with some things. But I am curious this, and I mean, maybe while the danger in, recording this right now, I kind of just did this right after he got done, but I am curious to see what Damian Lillard's reaction to it is, because Dame has been, pretty open and upfront with putting some stuff there out on Twitter and where he's at. He had the cryptic tweets this weekend where he was like, I'm amazed. And then some station asked why. And he goes, at how people can know so much and so little at the same time. So, we know what his side is. I mean, his agent's been out there very publicly saying that he wants the Heat and he wants the Blazers to take a serious hack at this and make things happen. But, for me, I don't know if there is. It's just so hard to believe the front office guys when they're out there. They tiptoe around these things, dude. Like, look, even Pat Riley, he knows how to put the spitting image on everybody. That's why he goes and talks about Tyler the way that he does in his end of the year press conference. But seems very much like Tyler Hero is very much on the block and is the leading asset for a lot of and the leading piece in a lot of this stuff to either get a draft pick to trade to Dame or trade Dame for Tyler Hero or whatever. So all that stuff is really, really funny, where it's like, you never quite know what to believe. But I know one thing: don't believe this Joe Cronin. I mean, every press conference he was at, he's like, "Oh, we're making that trade. We're building around Dame. We are building around him, and making everything happen so we can get the best possible thing for Dame." And I'm gonna be like, dude, I don't think I believe you. So, based on his record of telling the truth, I would expect Damian Lillard to be here within 48 hours.